John Cola with GrowingYourGreens.com. Today I have another exciting episode for you, and today we're in the garden transplanting my purple perennial tree collards into larger 1 gallons because they're kind of, outgrowing their little pots. Plus, a lot of them are kind of like, drooping down, and I don't like things when they're droopy or placid. I like them when they're tall and erect, if you get my drift. But in any case, besides just transplanting my tree collards, I thought I'd share some tips with you. When I'm out in the garden, I got usually some music playing, some audiobooks going to educate my brain, and at the same time, my brain just never stops thinking, and I would encourage you guys to never stop thinking either. And I was thinking about, what kind of tips can I share with you guys in a pretty quick episode to really, have you guys be successful in gardening. I'm a self-taught gardener. I never went to horticultural school or anything, and man, I almost think I flunked out of biology in college. But, I've been successful at it, and you can be too. So in this episode, I'm going to share my 5 tips on how you can become a successful gardener, even if you've never gardened before. So let's get right into this. Number 1, I want to teach you guys that adversity should be your biggest motivator. People might think, oh, I've never grown anything, I can't do it, and people might think, oh, it's a desert, I can't grow anything in the desert, People might think, I got brown thumbs. I mean, that's adversity, man. You need to step up and just do it. Let it motivate you. Look at challenges as hurdles that you can overcome, jump. I mean, look at Rocky Balboa in the Rocky series, man, I mean, he didn't give up. He just kept going. Dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun. I mean, all that stuff, man. He's like punching stuff, and he kicked the dude's ass. So don't give up. There's always a solution, and Google and my videos are your best friends sometimes to figure out the solutions to the challenges that you may be having. So number 2, you want to give your plants the best home you possibly can. Think about it. If you and your wife and your husband or whatever are having a baby, right, you're going to probably take a room in your house and paint it all nice for the baby, get new furniture, get the baby clothes, and you're going to prepare and, learn about how to take care of that baby. I mean, literally, I don't have any babies at this point, but my plants are my babies. And, I want to take care of them the best way possible. So, while I'm not making a room for them in my house, I am, providing them the best soil, the best nutrients in the soil, and likewise, so that they can be happy and fully thrive. I mean, if you just get some standard, compost or potting soil from the store, just throw the plants in there with reckless irregard to, what you're planting them in, then, you may not have the highest level of success and the highest probability of success. So for that reason, that's why I like to give my plant as many things as I can offer it to have the nicest home, because literally their home, it's a pot. And I don't know about you, but I wouldn't like to live in a pot unless I'm smoking it. Wait, that was a joke. So, but I want to put them in a larger pot when I can as well. So give them a larger home when appropriate. And of course, you want to, they're depending on you to feed them not only the nutrition, which I do in the form of compost teas and the rock dust and the trace minerals, but also the water. And you can't forget to water them, but you also want to make sure not to overwater them, because just like us, your plants could drown. When your plants drown, usually happens in form of root rot, and they just can't get the oxygen they need. So the next principle I want to share with you guys is pretty much a principle that I learned actually when I was in college in a fraternity. The more you put in, the more you're going to get out. If you expect to have a garden and do no work, well, you could totally do that. And I have had videos where I show just literally seed balling or planting things out and just leaving it for like 30 days and coming back and seeing what happens. And yes, certain crops will still grow very easily in that situation. But on the same token, the more you put in, the more you're going to get out. The more you can dedicate some time to your garden and use your time wisely to invest in your garden, whether you're, going to research the best soil so that you can include the best soil, whether you're going to learn how to, safely and effectively manage pests in the garden using organic controls, or whatever. You want to invest the time in your garden. One of the things I strive to do every day is come out to the garden. I mean, just take a walk. I mean, it's nice to get back out to nature and to look, literally at the results of your labor, what you've done. I mean, it's amazing to see, half the backyard here with dirt and like nothingness, and the half just lush and green, beautiful, growing a lot of food. So yeah, take some time to put into your garden, whatever it may be. Now, besides just putting the time in your garden, right? It's not effective to just be putting in time. John, I've been sitting out here watering my garden for 2 hours a day. not improving. So another thing that I strive and encourage you guys to do also, or you could use these principles in other things in life as well, is to wake up every morning, and every morning wake up and think about in your head, and maybe even put it on the bathroom mirror. What can I do to improve my garden today? And ask yourself one simple question. Maybe you want to really focus on your relationships instead of your garden. Then you maybe instead ask yourself, what can I do to improve my relationship with my wife today? I would rather have you guys, have a saying, what can I do to improve my garden today? Because gardens don't talk back to you. And I like that a lot. But nonetheless, you want to, come up with some idea about how you can improve your garden. Because if you make constant and never-ending small improvements every single day over the course of a year, several years, your garden is going to kick butt, kind of like mine does, these days. And I know many of you guys are just starting still, but there's always a way to improve. Don't ever think that, there's nothing else you can do. Because even me, with as much as I know, I always learn things every day on how I can improve what I'm doing to make it better. So the last tip I want to give you guys is probably one of the most important tips that I could give you guys. I mean, when you lose a plant's life in your garden, if it doesn't make the transplant, or you overwater it, underwater it, whatever, and it loses its life, we tend to feel bad, like, oh man, I'm a failure, I got brown thumbs, gardening doesn't work, I can't do it, Instead of having that attitude, what you should do is simply this: turn that around, flip it around on how losing the plant could benefit you. And so you could say to yourself, I now learned how to lose a plant, so now I won't do it next time. And in this way, you can improve what you're doing and turn a bad experience into a good one, because now you successfully learn how to, kill a plant if that's what you want to do. So if you got any enemies, you can go to their house and do exactly what you did in your garden and get the same results. But on the converse, look at your failures in gardening as learning experiences and an opportunity to improve, so that you can do it next time better than you did the last time. Of course, if you do this same thing like 10 times and lose 10 plants, repetitively the same thing, I'm sorry, I don't think I could help you. I heard a saying once, you can't fix stupid. So in that case, you guys might want to get some help. So hopefully with these 5 tips, it'll motivate you a little bit and teach you some of the things that I do besides just the mechanics of gardening, but things mentally in my mind that allow me to garden successfully, whether I'm in the desert or wherever I am. So hopefully with these tips, you'll now be able to be a more successful gardener. And if you like this video, be sure to thumbs up and be sure to click that subscribe button if you're not one of my subscribers already. I have videos almost every other day to teach you guys some techniques about gardening so that you can be more successful to grow food for you and your family. Once again, my name is John Kohler with GrowingYourGreens.com. We'll see you next time, and remember, keep on growing. John Kohler with GrowingYourGreens.com. Have another exciting episode for you today. It's going to be a very important one at that. We're going to talk about worm casting. Is this a hoax, or is what?